The evening air hummed with an air of mystery as I found myself drawn once more to the image before me. At first glance, it seemed like any other social media post, an ephemeral whisper drifting through the digital ether. My beloved bride, Catherine, stood radiant alongside her mother, sister, and 2 bridesmaids, their figures wrapped in delicate white flannel robes. They had gathered at an idyllic country hotel, a charming haven chosen for her bachelorette celebration, where the gentle embrace of the sauna awaited them. Yet, as my eyes traced the contours of the photograph again, something stirred within me, a flicker of intrigue that refused to be ignored. Perhaps it was the exquisite touch of makeup gracing their faces, a subtle yet intoxicating departure from the everyday. Or perhaps it was something else, something more elusive. My gaze drifted, lingering for a heartbeat too long upon my future mother-in-law's legs, adorned in sheer, flesh-toned nylon stockings. A curious choice for the setting. The delicate shimmer of fabric against her skin hinted at an unspoken allure, a whisper of elegance that sent an inexplicable shiver through me. Compelled by an unseen force, I made my way to the hotel, a lavish bouquet of flowers cradled in my arms, an offering of devotion, a token of love poised to unfold in the most unexpected of moments. As I approached, the warmth of anticipation curled through my veins. The lobby glowed with the soft luminescence of golden light, and with effortless grace, I slipped past the front desk, my presence veiled in the guise of a humble delivery man. The name and room number I carried on my lips felt like a secret waiting to be unveiled, a whispered promise entwined with the night. With a steady hand, I rapped gently upon the door, the pulse of my heartbeat quickening beneath the weight of possibility. A moment later, the door swung open, revealing Cheryl, the captivating bridesmaid, her eyes shimmering with the thrill of surprise. From within the room, the alluring strains of music mingled with hushed voices, a delicate symphony of laughter and murmured words that hinted at something more than just feminine companionship. I leaned in, my voice a velvety whisper laced with mystery. A delivery for the bride. Cheryl's lips curved into a delighted smile as she turned back toward the others. Jonathan has outdone himself. Flowers for Catherine. Stepping inside, I let my gaze sweep over the room. What I saw sent a ripple of unease coursing through me. 2 men lounged casually on the plush couch, their presence woven seamlessly into the intimate atmosphere of the gathering. Across from them sat Tina, Catherine's mesmerizing sister, along with another bridesmaid, their body language exuding a quiet familiarity that hinted at an unspoken bond. And then, realization dawned in their eyes. Cheryl and Tina's surprise was palpable as they recognized that I was not merely a deliveryman lost in the corridors of the hotel. "Jonathan," Tina breathed, a flicker of something unreadable passing across her face. What a delicious twist fate had woven into the night, a surprise not only for my bride but for me as well. I let the question drift away like petals carried upon a restless breeze, choosing instead to move with quiet grace toward the first bedroom. The anticipation crackled in the air, an intoxicating blend of curiosity and trepidation. As I stepped inside, my breath hitched. Before me stood my mother-in-law, poised in an embrace so fervent, so intimately entwined, that for a moment the world itself seemed to still. She was adorned in sheer stockings, their delicate shimmer accentuating the long, elegant lines of her legs. Her partner, a man whose youthful visage bore a striking resemblance to her own son, held her in a passionate clasp. The sight was a tableau of unguarded desire, a stolen moment untainted by pretense. Without hesitation, I lifted my phone, the lens capturing a fleeting glimpse of their unbridled intimacy, a silent witness to a secret now preserved in time. A gasp escaped her lips, sharp and breathless, as realization dawned upon her. Her pulse thrummed, not with shame, but with the thrill of unexpected excitement. Yet I did not linger. The night still held its mysteries, and so I slipped away, moving with silent purpose toward the next room. Behind me, Tina and Cheryl followed, their presence like an unspoken promise, a tantalizing whisper that danced through the air. And then, as I crossed the threshold, the scene that unfolded before my eyes both ensnared and unsettled me. There, poised upon the bed, was my bride. Demure, exquisite, an image of delicate submission wrapped in the trappings of wedding finery. She knelt on all fours, her body draped in gossamer lace, a vision of purity laced with something far more intoxicating. A man stood just behind her, his presence magnetic, his gaze possessive. The air between them pulsed with an intimacy so raw, so electric, that it sent a ripple of cold fire through my veins. Her eyes found mine then, widening in surprise, shimmering with unspoken emotions. In that instant, I knew I had captured more than just an image. I had immortalized a moment of betrayal, a truth that no words could ever erase. Before their startled minds could gather their wits, I vanished into the night, my pulse a drumbeat of disbelief and finality. The road stretched ahead, a ribbon of darkness illuminated only by the soft glow of my phone, where a symphony of messages clamored for my attention. A siren's call of pleas and explanations, of desperation laced with regret. Catherine's father was livid when I uttered the words that would unravel his carefully laid plans. The wedding would not be taking place. His fury roared like a tempest, fueled by the weight of $10,000 spent in vain. Yet the storm quieted the moment his gaze fell upon his wife's photograph, her beauty frozen in an embrace far removed from the sanctity of their marriage. The husbands of the bridesmaids, too, were left reeling as the whispers of the night found their way to them, threading tales of treachery and longing that could not be undone. With a deliberate hand, I composed a message, a parting gift to all who had once anticipated a joyous celebration. A post on the wedding website, an email adorned with a single, damning image, a revelation woven with irony and a touch of mischief. I knew the consequences would ripple far beyond this moment. And yet, I was unshaken. Catherine and her mother found me, their voices laden with apologies that spilled forth in endless waves, each one emptier than the last. Their words fell upon deaf ears, for no explanation, no feeble excuse, could rewrite the truth now etched into existence. And my former mother-in-law? Ah, she was truly a vision, a woman who had indulged in one final celebration before surrendering to the confines of matrimony. She had succumbed to an irresistible urge, a yearning for adventure that could not be denied. Yet even now, after 25 years of marriage, the whispers lingered, the echoes of infidelity woven into the fabric of time. She had imparted wisdom to her daughter, yet in the end, it seemed her heart had never truly belonged to another. And that, above all else, was the hardest truth to believe. I believe your attention should be drawn to a matter of an entirely different nature, a revelation that may shift the ground beneath your feet. What exactly are you implying? What was it that you whispered to me? Ah, but of course. As I made my exit, a curious sight met my eyes. There was Greg, carelessly hurling your belongings onto the lawn, his actions carrying the reckless abandon of a man who had long since discarded restraint. And yet, amidst the chaos of unraveling relationships, a peculiar harmony unfolded elsewhere. A charming gathering had taken place, a most unexpected affair where a lively assembly of chickens found themselves in the company of a graceful congregation of deer. Their interaction held an almost poetic cadence, a whimsical dance of nature's creatures coming together in an unspoken understanding. Amidst them all, my mother-in-law emerged as a captivating presence, effortlessly weaving herself into the fabric of youthful indulgence, her allure undiminished, her laughter a siren call to the eager crowd. My dear friends, while my wedding disintegrated before my very eyes, other unions trembled on the precipice of collapse. Betrayal had woven its tendrils far and wide, ensnaring hearts that had once believed themselves secure. My future father-in-law, a man who had invested so much in what was meant to be a celebration of love, found himself resigned to the inevitable. The venue was booked, the drinks already paid for, no refunds, no turning back. And so, in an act of defiance or perhaps sheer absurdity, he and I extended an invitation. Every male guest, every friend who had stood by my side, every man who had been cast adrift by a wife's indiscretions, they all came. It was no longer a wedding, nor even a solemn mourning of love lost. Instead, it became something else entirely, an indulgence, a descent, an escape from reality. The night that followed was both our greatest failure and our most reckless triumph. A gathering of broken men, bound together by betrayal, drowning their anguish in excess. Recovery took a full week, 7 days marked by groans of regret, hangovers that seemed insurmountable, and voices hoarse from pleas and apologies that fell on deaf ears. Yet, as the dust settled, 4 divorces were finalized, each a severing of ties that had once promised eternity. And strangely, amidst the wreckage, I found myself feeling something unexpected. Unlike the others, I was lucky. There were no legal battles over alimony, no bitter fights over the division of property. I had walked away, untethered, unscathed. But the world had shifted. As the whispers of that fateful night spread, a change took root. Women were no longer seen through the lens of commitment but rather as fleeting indulgences, easily available, yet never to be trusted. Offers of passion came in abundance, yet none spoke of love, none hinted at permanence. It was reminiscent of that film, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, but in this tale, fate had woven a different ending. 4 divorces and a quarrel, a collision of lives left in disarray. And so, dear listener, I thank you for walking this path with me, for bearing witness to a story of deceit, revelation, and unexpected liberation. If you found this journey compelling, I invite you to stay. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we shall meet again on Deceitful Love Stories, where truth is often stranger than fiction.